All right.
All right. Oh, I can gamble my points away on EGC TV. That's
You can.
I'm gonna toss all my points on my boy. Give you anxiety.
All right. I like that. That's a good opening bet. All right, fellas. Welcome to the first game in the series between FitzBro and GiveUAnxiety. In the north of the map is FitzBro playing the Ethiopians, and in the south of the map is GiveUAnxiety playing the Hausa. With me this evening is Lidakor. Lidakor, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. It's very nice to be here. So I'm really happy to be invited. This is my debut as an AOE3 caster. It's a long time overdue.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you on the debut. Yeah, I've watched a lot of your stuff in Age of Empires 2. It's interesting how the communities cross over. I remember back in the day, it always used to be there wasn't too much of a crossover between Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 3. But now it definitely seems to be like more players are crossing over. It looks like we almost have a treasure contention here as these two heroes begin to cross over. I think FitzBro is going to be able to pick up this treasure a little bit before GiveUAnxiety. So managing to snag away his own treasure before GiveUAnxiety was going to steal it. But we'll take a look at the openings and see what each player is going to be looking to do. So we've got FitzBro, who is yet to sell a cow. So he's still got, he's actually got his granary up at the moment. Hasn't researched his village dogs yet. Hasn't sold any cow off yet. There we go. We do see the cow now being sold. So going to be getting the village dogs in as well as dropping down that house. We'll take a look at his deck when he's got the chance for it. But he's going to be picking up a 70 coin treasure here in the middle. What are you hoping to see out of FitzPro today? Gonna go with some aggression?
I would say so. But what is more interesting for me is how GiveUAnxiety went straight to the treasure of FitzBro. Like, that was on FitzBro's side. He went to pretty much claim that treasure. He wasn't able to, but to me that tells that GiveUAnxiety feels like he needs to be kind of aggressive here today.
Yeah, I got to agree 100%. It's very unusual to be this far up on your opponent's side that early in the game. So, yeah, I love the aggression from GUA. We'll take a look at his deck and we'll see what he's got coming our way. So his deck is called Main G. So Main G is his main go-to. Going to be picking up a 100 XP treasure here as well. So a pretty standard deck. A lot of influence crates in this deck. So we've got the 1000 influence, the 700, the 600, as well as the Guandu. So it looks like a bit of a treasure contention. I think FitzBro might have gotten this one. FitzBro comes in with the steal, stealing a 100 XP off GiveUAnxiety. That is going to be tilting. This early in the game, Lidakor. Oh, my lord.
That is pretty massive as well. And it's also very frustrating. So that was a treasure that GiveUAnxiety fought for, basically exclusively.
Yeah.
So FitzBro just came in and is like, yoink, that's mine.
That's exactly it. And it's one of the things, like, especially so early in the tournament or in the series as well, like it's game one, you don't want that to be happening in game one because it's like your morale is at an all-time high. You're like, all right, like you clap your hands, you're like, let's go, let's do this. And then you lose your treasure. And it's a big treasure as well. So it's something that doesn't feel that good. So GUA now going up with the Hausa, so doing a little bit of a self-alliance there. We'll take a look over at FitzBro. We'll see what he's up to. So FitzBro aging up at roughly the same time. Going to be going up with the Jesuits. Be providing him that experience. We'll take a look at his deck. We'll see exactly what his deck has got. It's actually a deck called GUA. So this is a man who is coming prepared. So he's got the Jesuit influence in there. The 9 Cannoneers. We see Big Benny in there. Have you played much around with Big Benny yet, Lidakor?
Nope, that's gonna be a new thing for me.
Oh, Big Benny, he's a man of quite a significant stature. I will say that much. So it's a very interesting mechanic the way that it works. So essentially, with Big Benny, you can get up to 900 resources of value with him, but there's an opportunity cost there. So with Big Benny, he comes in, he's 900 out of 900, so he's a very fat cow. But then once you sell him at the livestock market, it's going to reduce your rate down. So it's almost like an opportunity cost. You could have sent in, or you could have sold another cow for 500 gold, but you sold Big Benny for 900. And any subsequent cow that you send, it's going to be getting you less. So it seems like a lot, but at the same time, there's an opportunity cost there. All right, beginning.
Indeed, looks like we have FitzBro with the trading post coming in, and no trading post just yet from GiveUAnxiety. I think we also saw a villager moving past the middle of the map from green, right?
Let's take a look. I don't see anything just yet. We Oh, we had the A-Boon. So the A-Boon was moving around in the early game. So as Ethiopia, typically you're going to be starting off with this card here, Trinity. So you get the A-Boon out. So he does a little bit of scouting for you. But yeah, it looks like he did do a bit of a loop. FitzPro now dropping down a church, putting it on a bit of a weird angle. Curious decision there, FitzPro. And dropping down the mountain monastery in the front of the base. GUA not up yet. Going to be sending in that Jesuit influence as the first card. GiveUAnxiety, oh, I apologize, is actually up. Dropping down a war camp, sending in the 6 raiders. And looking pretty good at this point. I'm feeling pretty good about the way his base layout is. I love the fact that he's got the university sitting behind the town center. My main concern with this university is that it's out of proximity. So with the university, the way that works is it's got this proximity circle. And anything that's within this circle is going to be counting towards this trickle. Now, he just might not be intending to take this trading post. But in the event that he did, he would just be getting a much greater trickle with that. So it's almost a bit... Perhaps he's just really thought about this and determined, you know what, I'm not going to take this trading post. It's a Sufi mosque. And, I mean, typically you're not going to want to go with the Sufis unless it's really late game, because they do have a couple of cool techs in there. But now we begin to see the raiders moving out. 5 more raiders made for GiveUAnxiety, and we can see that he's now sending in Fulani as well. So expecting a little bit of action here. What do you reckon, Liticor? How's it going to go down? Going to see FitzBro potentially lose a villager here.
I think he's close enough to the DC just to jump inside. It's more about the idle time right now. Or actually, there's a hunter that's going to go down there.
Yeah, there's one at the back that's being snared up by GUA, and a second one that looks like it may be going down as well. GUA also moving in underneath on the south. So first villager going to go down for FitzBro. Second one looks like it's going to go down as well. Is it going to be able to make it to the town center? It's got 3 HP on it. It does go down.
Nope.
Gaskenya doing their best just to try and ward off those raiders. The first raider going to be going down. Second raider looking to escape with relatively high HP, but more villagers being harassed now by the raiders, getting inside that town center. And GUA doing a great job of just keeping FitzBro on his toes. Also sieging this trading post down to the south at the same time, just multitasking absolutely everywhere. So GUA living up to his name at this point. Fulani Archers also coming in. Is there anything that FitzBro can really do to get back ahead in this situation?
It's rough because the Gaskenya will die to the archers pretty badly, and from this point on, he just pinned inside this town center, and basically he's got a dysfunctional economy, and he's about to lose that trading post as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's all just going downhill for FitzBro. I'm not sure how much you saw of my series earlier, but I feel like my series should have gone this way, and it definitely didn't. It's, yeah, FitzBro absolutely in a bit of strife right now, but I mean, his base building's pretty good. He's got a nice solid wall at the front here. The main issue is that there's just more and more units that are continuing to pile in now for FitzBro. Or for GUA, rather. Looks like the A-Boon is potentially going to be going down here. Losing 191 HP down to now, but going to begin healing up. And Gaskenya now trading with the Fulani Archers. Fulani Archers doing their best to just sort of trade effectively, but unfortunately getting snared up by the Explorer. And now more Fulani Archers under the town center. Look at this. Look how sneaky he is. Just picking off villagers. FitzBro paying attention. 1 villager inside the town center. Second villager needs to get inside. The third one's trying to get blocked here by GUA. Doing a pretty good job, but unfortunately able to get through. That trading post has gone down to the south. 700 wood going to be coming in for FitzBro, and we'll take a ride back with GUA. See what he is up to on his side of the map. So it looks like everything is going to plan for him. He's got double granary up in the back of his base, focusing on his economy. He's at 20 villagers at the moment, sending in 4, so we'll call that 25 villagers, compared to FitzBro, who's on 19 at the moment. So not doing the best when it comes to the economy, but still relatively even. FitzBro does have that 4 villager card that he has already sent, apparently. So down significant amount of villager count, losing more units as well at the front of the base. Not the trade he wants to be taking right here.
This is an interesting scenario because FitzPro lost quite a lot of vills, but many of those archers went down to the Gaskenya, so suddenly, especially if FitzPro takes a pretty decent fight here, we are going to be looking into like 15-ish Gaskenya marching towards the base of GUA.
And that's going to be a massive issue for him because these Gaskenya are really going to be able to take out absolutely anything that gets thrown at them, with the exception of those Fulani, and the Fulani need space to fall back. If GUA is forced back against this wall down here, he's going to have absolutely nowhere to go, and it's going to mean that the Gaskenya just trade so effectively against those Fulani, so he's really got to be careful about getting pushed into the base. But now Gaskenya beginning to apply pressure. We've got 21 villages up against GUA's 26, so GUA pulling ahead slightly when it comes to economies, but not overly at the moment. I mean, still up a significant amount. Gaskenya's going to be doing their best to trade. Scores seem relatively even at this point as well. So, I mean, if I'm GUA, I'm very happy in this position. I've taken out a trading post. I've taken out a lot of villages. I've kept FitzBro in his base on his side of the map. He hasn't come onto my side. He's not aged up yet. I'm applying a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. So FitzBro right now is just cornered, and his attention is stretched out so much. You see archers coming from 2 directions, and he either loses army or he loses vills here.
And that's exactly it. And so you just see, like, you see the difference right here, where GUA has just got the 4 Fulani archers just on the back line. These guys do 7 or 9 damage each against villagers. Like, it is not a lot. But the fact that FitzBro, he has to divert his attention over here. He sends all of his Gaskenya over here. You know, it was just 4 Fulanis. It was just like they got 4.5 movement speed. They just run away. But I mean, at the end of the day, FitzBro is picking up a pretty good trade here. You know, he's getting 4 Fulani for free, and now more Fulani at the front of the base. So, despite FitzBro looking like he was in a bad position, I feel like he might actually be in a pretty good one.
Yeah, I think so as well, because he isn't really using his army numbers. So, sure enough, it is FitzBro who's losing some economy, but he's taking better trades than his opponent does.
Yes, agree completely. So I think in the short term, FitzBro's definitely got a bit of a lead. We see how even the scores are right now, 101 versus 102. And FitzBro, yeah, definitely looking pretty beastie right now. So 9 Cannoneers out as well, going to be extra strong. I feel like with this army, you could definitely push in this position and punish your opponent. So if FitzBro was to walk right down the middle right now, what does he even have that that could stop this? It doesn't really look like much other than sort of like raiding. You know, this is what GUA needs to do to keep FitzBro in his base. It's just 3 raiders. It's not a lot. They're all very low HP, but it's what is going to keep FitzBro in his base. He actually going to be able to pick off all 3 of those raiders, and the villager
that's massive
survives.
value there.
Yeah,
because I don't think there is any more raiders out right now for GiveUAnxiety. So maybe the time has come. Okay, there is some more coming in.
Yeah, these ones are Lafidi, so a little bit more expensive, a little less damage, but yeah, still going to be able to provide that huge oomph. But yeah, you're 100% on the money there. The fact that that's all the raiders that he really had. So what does he do from here?
So far, FitzBro is still cornered within his base. One thing to consider is that his army has a lot more siege potential, so he can snowball a game a lot faster if he actually gets to the base of GUA.
Yeah, you're 100% right. If GUA takes a bad trade here, like he looks like he kind of wants to right now, FitzBro is in a very commanding position. His military is really beginning to build up, and despite GUA having the 5 Lafidi Knights here, I can't help but feel like GUA's in a bit of a tough spot here. FitzBro actually pulling ahead in score, up about 1k at this point right now. And GUA just doing his best to hold on. I can't help but feel like this is just a distraction right now. He's just sending these units through and saying, come on, just don't send your army towards me. We now see the prize bullers arrive. Big Benny, he's already gone in and been sold off. It looks like Fitz is now going to be able to get an age up in queue as well. So I'm curious what we're going to see, but look at this beautiful micro by Fitz. He's just snaring a single Lafidi Knight at the back and then firing upon the rest of them with his Gaskenya. So really nice job allowing them to get on, but really good job by meleeing the Lafidi Knights. So impressive stuff from Fitz.
Distraction worked once again because the archers could move in on the left, but this might be the time for FitzBro to move out. He sees the archers on the left, he sees the cav on the right, and he already moved like pretty much to the middle of the map. So this might be the time to just continue marching and start to force the issue, because you're not going to catch those cavalry anytime soon.
Yeah, that's 100% it. And I think one of the things to note as well, especially about GUA, is the civilization he's used to are the British. And the British are infamous for their economy. And GUA plays them in a certain way that enables him to sort of take not the best trades, but still win the game because he's got a better economy than his opponent. And if we look right now, so we see that he's at 35 villages compared to the 28 of Fitz, so he does have a better economy, but it's not by a lot. Normally in a situation like this, GUA would be up by 20 villages, 30 villages potentially, and be able to take these multitasking trades and be able to still hold out on a victory. But the issue is, as you mentioned, if FitzPro pushed the issue right now, he would win. 100%. He would win. He's got a superior amount of units, but he has gone up to the 3rd age, so it's important he doesn't fight right this second. We see the war camp about to go up. I'm not sure exactly. He looks like he's gone up with what appears to be the Portuguese. I see the Arsenal wagon just sitting there. Villager going down. Second villager going to be going down again for FitzBro. Does he have the big boy shipment potentially? Oh my god, he doesn't have the big boy in deck. Oh my god, FitzBro, you are a man of great... I don't even know what. Great pride? That is impressive. But still, FitzBro just deciding to take the fight before he even gets his elite upgrade. Or elite upgrade just coming in right now. Gasquenia have been upgraded. He's got the cannoneers on the front line. Going to begin sieging down the enemy Fulani. And just look how much damage he's putting out here. Villagers moving to the front to tank the damage of the Fulani archers, trying to draw all of their attention in. You see that GiveUA is just doing his best to try and focus down the Gasquenia. But FitzBro is overpowering him at the moment, pulling ahead about 2,000 points up in score. Looking to take out the majority of the army. The villagers are still tanking on the front line, taking about 120 damage. More Fulani are coming in now for GiveUA, but GiveUA's army has just been completely shredded by Gasquenia and cannoneers alone. There wasn't even a shipment of a big boy. He's literally done this without the big boy.
Yeah, part of that is the elite upgrade, obviously, but GiveUAnxiety kind of felt that he needs to do it right now because he was still H2, and if he didn't actually start that fight, it would have been just elite upgrade for all the army for Fitz, so he kind of had to do it right now. It was just a little too late.
I can't help but agree. I think that's 100% right. He just went in. He said, I need to go right now before that elite upgrade comes in. It came in, and unfortunately, he must have committed at the wrong time, but FitzPro is now going to be in a position where he's able to push in. We see Neftenia now being shipped in from the home city. This is going to be incredibly difficult for GiveUAnxiety to stop. He's in a difficult position because despite having a larger economy, he has a significantly smaller military. We take a look at the population difference. We've got 59 versus 64. A lot of these are military units. That's the key difference. So he's got 25 villagers versus 40. So it's about 20 military population difference at this point. I would say that FitzBro is looking in a commanding lead. Up about 5,000 score as well. That is a huge difference.
It is, and as we discussed, those Gasquenias can take down buildings really fast over here, unlike the Fulani archers would, so you can really snowball this one with the momentum that you have right now.
It's exactly what's happening. Like like just exactly as you pointed out, the siege begins. This is where the snowball begins. The high siege on these units means that this issue needs to be addressed right now. We see the Magadai coming out for GiveUA, a whole bunch of Fulani as well. More Neftenia now coming down for FitzBro, going to be attempting to support this push. Explorer on the front line as well, looking to tank up the damage, getting off a snare. And we just see these Gasquenia, how well they trade into the Fulani. The Fulani aren't being microed at all, doing his best to just try and fight toe-to-toe with this. And it looks like GiveUAnxiety is going to be in a difficult spot here as FitzBro is able to take this. I'm pretty comfortable. And GiveUAnxiety says GGG, and that's exactly it. Good game goes over to FitzBro. FitzBro goes up to 1-0.
Indeed. Now I see why people are saying that Gasquenia are a little too powerful right now.
Yeah, they are indeed a little bit too powerful at the moment. The Gasquenia is a very, very strong unit. We take a look at the post game and take a look at exactly at how good those military unit pops were. So yeah, pretty decent right there. We'll take a look over at the resources gathered as well. You see GiveUAnxiety just so far ahead as well. It's
absolutely. If you take a look at the villager count, it's going to show
yeah.
that GiveUAnxiety never lost a villager in the entire, or at least until the final snowball.
Yeah. That's exactly, yeah, what happened. Whereas in the early game, we see how many did Fitz lose? 1 vill, 2 vill, 3 vill, 4, 5, 6 villagers over the course of the game. So yeah, a big difference in economy, but Fitz did very well there. I'm impressed.
Absolutely.
Despite being down 4K resources, was able to pull that ahead. But yes, Gasquenia definitely a little bit too strong. A little bit too strong. But the shoe is going to be on the other foot now for the second game. So second game is going to have the players switch around. So the first game, GiveUA was playing the Hausa. This game, it's going to be FitzBro on the Hausa. So let's head into... There we go. So now we've got round 2. FitzBro versus GiveUA. You ready, Lidicor?
I am.
Let's do it.
Let's see if FitzBro is going to be this successful with the treasures in the first part of the game again, because he was very successful with the treasures at the beginning of the previous game.
Yeah, that was a big thing that definitely went in FitzBro's favor. He was able to control a lot of the treasures. So it looks like GUA has picked this map. Now, I don't actually know what this map is called. This is one of the new African maps, but we can see that this is actually a very bad map for Hausa, so really smart by GUA to pick this map. And the reason why is because there's no starting trading post that FitzBro's got access to that he can then combine with his university. So this is the closest FitzBro's got, and there's no way that's going to connect to a university. So very smart play from him. If FitzBro wants to put down any universities, he's going to have to come down all the way out here, potentially take the Somali outpost, or even take this one down here to the south. It's just a very awkward map for him. So GUA really thought about this quite well.
Indeed. It's going to be very confusing to see the colors flip now, but we'll see how many times we butcher the names now.
yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, FitzBro on the pink, GUA on the green. Yes, it's definitely going to be that way. So I'm curious to see how this game is going to go. So FitzBro is a little bit more of a Hausa main, I would say. So I feel like he is going to have something planned here. He definitely had something planned in the last game. I mean, his build order was very well executed. The fact that he didn't have the big boy especially, like, it just indicates to me that FitzBro is a player who has, he just doesn't want to abuse things. If he thinks something is overpowered, he is not going to abuse it, and he will very objectively refrain from using it. So it is quite impressive control that he's got. Because for me, as a player, if I know something is busted, I'm taking it to the top. I'm going to go all the way to the top with it. What about you, Lidicor? What's your thought process? If something is broken, do you abuse it?
Like, it depends on how broken it is, obviously. If it's broken beyond reason, then indeed. I feel like anything that's not stated in the rules, it should be allowed because everybody can access it. So, why not use it?
I agree. And that's... I remember when the Custolia in Age of Empires 2 came out. Do you remember that?
I was taking a break. Like, I'm not even sure what exactly I was doing, but I was away for a couple of days, so I actually only got back when they fixed that. But yeah, that was totally broken. There were a lot of broken stuff with that.
It was pretty funny. I remember seeing like one game in particular. I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it might have been Viper versus MBL. And the Custalias just destroyed, like they one-shot all the Cav archers. And I think MBL just deleted all of his Cav archers in the end. He's like, what's the point? And it made for some very funny clips. But yeah, I'm a big fan of sort of... I don't like to use the word abuse, but abusing anything I can to sort of, yeah, get ahead. So we now see FitzBro dropping down a university in the front of his base. So could potentially be looking to place down a palace towards the front here. The palace is the unique building that the African civilizations have got access to that enables them to have a little bit more... it's kind of like a mini agri-fort, I guess the best way to say it would be. So FitzBro going up with the Hausa as well. So not looking to do any rush shenanigans. We take a look at GUA, see what GUA is up to. Already aging up now. So going to be dropping down a... let's take a look at the deck. He does actually have the Sebastopol mortar in deck. So he is using it. So it's not like they've discussed and said, hey, let's not use this. They are indeed both using it. And sending out his A-Boon to just do a little bit of exploring as well. Just the same way FitzBro did it. And picking up these little treasures on the outside of the map. So it's a very similar deck. He does have Big Benny. Also got the Cannoneers. No 15 Cannoneers in Age 3. We'll take a look over at FitzBro and just see what he's got in his deck. 15 Cannoneers and 12 Sudanese allies as well. He's got the Yoruba allies in there as well. So deck looking pretty standard, pretty much what you'd expect. What are you hoping to see out of these players this game?
It's hard to say because, as you said, it's not a great map for Hosa over here. So we have seen that the Ethiopian has the Sebastopol mortar over here. So I would think that you probably play a little bit more defensive with that. Try to mess the Gaskenia. And then really try to finish the game once you have the mortar.
I definitely think that's the win condition for Ethiopia in a lot of their sort of strategies that they do. We see GUA going up with the Jesuits, dropping down the Mountain Monastery, Church going down, dropping down a war camp in base as well. He's got a villager up to the north that he's going to be herding in, and also setting in 700 coin as his first shipment. So he could be looking to play a little bit more of an economic style, something that we've seen out of players like, I know Noosh definitely does this kind of play style where you open with 5 A-boons. So I'm expecting that we'll see an A-boon coming in. Where is it? Needs to be back here. Come on, GUA, get on the ball. And then sending Big Benny after that. So 700 gold into Big Benny. We'll take a look over at FitzBro sending in the House of Kingdom. Going to be delivering the University Builder as well as the Trade Builder. So definitely more of an economic focus for FitzBro. And we see that he's actually dropping down a palace over here next to the trading post side. So not dropping down... Oh, okay, he switched it to a university. Or maybe I just misread that. Also getting the second level upgrade from the granary as well.
You did say that you would have to move out to get real use of that university to that trade post, and it looks like he's doing it.
Yeah, that's it. That's 100% it. And I guess my fear is, like, this is why it's such a good map that the GOA picked. I really like the way he thought about this. Is now, as a result of picking this map, and the fact that FitzBro is moving out here, it's going to be very easy for GUA to not necessarily finish the game, but punish FitzBro and take this out. He can push up with the mortar, take this out, and not necessarily commit to this, you know, the town center, to this whole base here. So a really smart move by him. I do like that. We see the first batch of Javelin Riders now coming out for FitzBro. He's getting out 4 Javelins in total, give you anxiety. On the other hand, got a couple of Shuttle Warriors going out. Shuttle Warriors. You seen these guys before?
Yeah, definitely. Talk about crossovers between AOE 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. So tell me a little bit about these Shuttle Warriors. So these Shuttle Warriors, they're in AOE 3, they are like a fast cavalry unit that is a melee infantry unit. It's a weird unit. Is it the same in AOE 2?
Partially. It is actually faster moving than general infantry. What makes it special is that it's very fragile, so it is like a very low HP,
right?
But it has an insane damage output. So it's the typical unit that's like, it's going to destroy everything in its path, but it dies very easily as well.
Well, okay, that's interesting, because in AOE 3, it's kind of the opposite. They have a relatively low hand attack, but quite a high hit point pool. So, yeah, it's curious to see, and they got the 6 movement speed as well. So faster unit, definitely. So, yeah, curious to see how they've been implemented differently. But I guess it comes down to different games and the way that they sort of want to balance. But FitzBro doing a good job of scouting out his opponent here, just trying to spot out exactly what he's up to. We'll probably be aware that he's going for almost a full eco FF at this point. We've got the 5 A-boons now for Give You Anxiety. He's got the age up in queue as well, going up with the Sudanese. So impressive timing that he's got going on here. Does he have the upgrade from the monastery? I don't think we can actually check that, but he seems to be aging up pretty darn quickly. So I expect we're going to see something sooner rather than later. But we'll take a look back at FitzBro, though. And FitzBro now shipping in wood from the home city. And looks like he's got an age up on the way. But I do suspect that... I suspect there's going to be 700 coin coming in for Fitz. It is indeed.
Yep.
So, yeah, 700 coin going up. He's taking the double trading post as well. So FitzBro got quite a nice little bit build order that he's worked out here. I'm pretty satisfied with it. What do you think of it so far? It looks pretty crisp, I'd say.
It is. I feel like it's a risky one because it could get punished very easily. Like, your attention is stretched out to so many places. 2 trade posts to defend, potentially your own base. So he's benefiting from the fact that GUA is not actively pushing him or not even trying to raid, just sitting back and chilling.
Yeah, I got to agree as well. He's definitely sort of taking advantage of that. I like the fact that he's picked up the second trading line, or the second trading post on the trade line. But yeah, once again, I can't help but feel like the way that GUA has just picked this map, it feels like such a bad map for Hauser. So very, very smart by him. War Camp now going to be going down for FitzBro. GUA hitting that 3rd age. Big boy coming in straight away. There it is. The 1 Sebastopol mortar is coming in for GUA. So pretty happy with that, he would be. Also got the Dervish that he's aged up with, so going up with the Sudanese allies is definitely probably the meta choice at the moment. I think they're quite strong, and going to be training some Gaskenya or some Neftenya from the war camp. This is curious. Normally we see players avoid this unit unless they really have to make it, but it's curious to see that GUA is going for this. The stats on this unit are pretty decent, but they are an expensive unit. So 65 food, 70 coin. So a normal skirmisher, 50 food, and 65 coin. So it's got high hit points. It's got relatively high attack. But most importantly, it doesn't do that well against cavalry. And you've got a big boy right here. And you need things to protect it from cavalry.
Absolutely. I mean, you have some Gascania, but indeed, as you said, it's a little bit surprising that he's not investing that much into Gascania. He's got a couple of them. And that mortar is going to be extremely valuable. On the other hand, though, that is only just a couple of Javelin Riders from FitzPro, and the window is definitely open right now for our green player.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you 100%. It's one of those things where there is definitely a timing window right now, probably here to the next 2 minutes, for him to push in and try and finish this game. Because if the game goes longer than that, it's highly likely that the universities at the north of the map, just combined with the greater economy that the Hausa generally has, is going to be able to overtake the economy and the military that GUA is able to throw out. But I'm curious to see how he's going to be able to do it. He's also sending Neftenia in from the home city, so I like the fact that he is going quite heavy on this sort of anti-infantry composition, where in reality, like, FitzBro is probably going to be, not going too heavy on hand cavalry. Normally you do see this combination where you go Fulani, Archer, and Javelin Rider. So if you just go Neftenia, which is what he's doing, he's also shipping Neftenia from the home city, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, you're...
It does.
It's the whole concept of, like, okay, if your opponent goes Skirmisher and Dragoon, you just go full Skirmisher. And, this is something that we see in a lot of matchup. So as an example, in the matchup, like the Dutch Mirror, at a high level, you see them both go only skirmishers. They will literally both just make only skirmishers. The first person to make cavalry will normally be the person who loses. And so it's one of those things that develops. So I'm curious if GUA has given a little bit of like an analysis or insight into this and then made that decision. So we continue to see the military growing for FitzPro, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really contest this at this point. Sebastopol mortar on the backline going to be doing the sieging. How do you feel about this push?
It's looking good. We have the elite upgrade in, I believe, for FitzPro's army.
Yes.
So there isn't really a huge amount of Cascadians around, so maybe they can snipe the mortar, but it's going to be really hard. And if that building goes down, I don't think that there's a shot here for FitzPro.
It's definitely...
Especially with such a shot. That was an enormous shot from the mortar.
Looks like he's locked on. He was locked on, yeah, and there we go. 3 more getting taken out as well. So it's very frustrating to deal with this mortar. But we see FitzPro coming around the back, and it looks like FitzPro's got his Fulani archers out into melee combat from the home city shipment, as well as the Javelin coming in melee as well, doing their best to try and snipe down the big boy. Big boy takes out 4 Fulani archers on the back line, but does actually go down. FitzBro saying 21 in the chat. FitzBro, you can't be taunting your opponent as you're killing their army. That's BM, FitzBro. Oh my lord, and the Javelin are just on top. Look how much damage they're doing. They're so tanky. The Fulani are on the back line just firing off and just completely overwhelming the army of GUA.
Indeed, because, well, the Neftenia aren't particularly good against the Fulani archers themselves. The whole concept was that you use the mortar against the archers, and now the mortar is gone, so the archers will definitely be able to dominate.
I'm in awe. I'm genuinely in awe. FitzPro is just playing absolutely perfectly. This is an early timing attack as well. This is prior to 12 minutes that he's hitting him, and he's just cleaning it up. It doesn't even look like FitzPro's, really breaking a sweat here. It's like, it was all too easy for him. His build order's crisp. He's looking great. FitzPro is one of those guys. He goes into every game and he says, "I'm gonna wing it." So look at this, 22 HP. Do you reckon that's winged, or do you reckon that's planned? I reckon that's got to be planned. 22 HP. How did he do that? That is insanity. It's less than 1 HP.
Although it's a bit of a luck as well, because honestly, if GiveUAnxiety sees that, he may have just said, okay, I'm gonna get a volley of torches on top of it just to make sure it finishes it off. And yeah, I'm gonna lose a couple more units, but I'm gonna take that building down.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And that's a lot of resources. That's like 400 resources. So, I mean, you take that down, even with these guys back here, just 2 torches would do it. But, yeah, probably not realizing just how low it is. But, yeah, that is impressive stuff. I'm really impressed with Fitz, honestly, because, as I said, he goes into games saying that he's going to wing it most games, but it really looks like he's actually put a build order together for this, and he's looking quite competent. I will say that much. So look, I'm suspecting he's probably going to pull this one ahead. He's ahead on score ever so slightly, about 1k up. Now, GiveUA does actually have the mercenaries, the center horsemen in at the moment. So 5 center horsemen, 1200 HP on these bad boys, as well as 32 attack. And they've got the dual resists. So this is something that we've seen more and more from units in the African expansion. So dual resists. What are your opinion on dual resists, Lidicor?
I think we need to see a little bit more of that for me to have a good opinion on that. So I would probably just skip it for now and sort of remain on the wait and see approach with it.
Yeah, that's a reasonable decision. So I guess the issue that that most people see with it is it's very difficult to counter these units that have got dual resist. So the center horsemen aren't too bad because they resist against siege damage. So it's like mainly, you know, if you've got a large mass of falconets, you're not going to be too worried about the center horsemen. Well, the center horsemen aren't going to be too worried about it. The main one is the Lafidi Knight, which is what's actually coming in at the moment from the home city. So the Lafidi Knight has got dual resist. It's melee and ranged, which basically just gives it a much higher health pool. And obviously it scales very well with upgrades a resist does, because instead, in AOE3, the upgrades aren't multiplicative, they're additive. So any sort of percentage upgrade that you can get on something like a resist is very good. So Lafidi Knights, you can see here, 30% range resist, 15% melee resist, almost 600 HP. Just absolute beasts of units. So great units to have. So FitzPro looking in a really good position. He's got 3 more Lafidi out, so a total of 11 Lafidi now on the field for him. He's in a commanding position. He's got to be careful now, GiveUA. Got to be careful, GiveUA. First vill's gonna go down. There it goes. Second villager gonna be going down. And a whole bunch of villagers back here. A couple of Gascania on the back line. Look like they're gonna be able to clean up the Lafidi. Gotta be careful. Center horseman beginning to engage. And now GiveUA, gotta be careful. He's losing more villagers on the back line. But FitzBro, he's also splitting up his fire. So by these villagers coming in here, GiveUA is giving up some of those villagers, some of his economy, but he's saying, you know what, you take those. These villagers don't have great coat though, so they're gonna be getting sliced open like a hot knife through warm bread, or a hot knife through warm butter, rather. Center horseman now down to 3 out of 5. More Gascania on the back line. He's brought the Abuns out. Abuns are doing their healing in the fight, but FitzBro looking like he's in a commanding position. Elite Javelin out here as well, just absolutely picking down these center horsemen. Meanwhile, the Raiders on the back line just still dealing with the villagers, doing as exactly you would expect a Raider to do. And FitzBro just looking really good at the moment, but more reinforcing Gascania going to be coming in for GiveUAnxiety onto the backline, doing a pretty nice job. Scores are beginning to pull ahead for FitzBro at this point, despite what looks like a loss in this battle. And FitzBro, look, oh my god, it's so hard to tell. It's just absolutely close. These Abuns on the back, you just can't underestimate how much these guys are doing. But it looks like now, finally, the units are beginning to dwindle. Who do you think's going to come out on top in this?
I think that's FitzPro by a massive margin. So this kind of felt like a mutual annihilation, but from what I have seen from GiveUAnxiety, he wanted to go for a decisive fight here. He brought in the Abun, he sacrificed a bunch of villagers just for the sake of winning this battle, and at best this was just the 2 armies canceling each other. And behind this one, FitzPro hasn't lost a single villager for the next who knows how many minutes now.
Yeah. I think you're on the money 100%. So we saw GiveUA sacking those vills. It's cost him significantly. Fitz is up to 27 villagers at the moment. GiveUA sitting down on 21 villagers, so he's only going to be falling behind from this point. GiveUA knows that. He's going to have to push forward. He's going to try and have to make a move here. Looks like he's going to be able to pick off the first of the Javelin Riders. 3 more. Almost takes out a second one, but unable to successfully do that. Now Cannoneers coming in from the home city. 15 Cannoneers in total. These are one of the new mercenary units added in the African Royals expansion, or DLC rather. So these are a mercenary unit that goes against the grain of other mercenary units. So normally mercenary... Oh, does he spot it? Does he spot it? Oh, the torch was going. The torch was going.
He could have gotten it, and I think he can still get it.
Yeah, he just doesn't realize. I think that's it. But he was actually sieging the war camp. If he just focused a little bit on the palace, he would have been in an okay position. But FitzPro just looking overwhelming right now. 2 batches of javelins about to pop out as well. He's got a huge mass here. 22 javelin riders now pushing up towards the north. Going to be able to single out these Oromo warriors. Looks like the 2 of them going down, all 3 going down, and the javelin riders are going to be able to clean up this little army to the north. At the same time, Cannoneers on the back line, and GiveUAnxiety says, G, the game has been called, and 2-0 over to FitzBro.
Exactly. I think he just looked at the score. Well, if you just look at the screen, you can tell the army difference, but the score jumped by like 3,000 for FitzBro in the last 20 seconds, and that just tells GiveUAnxiety that there is no hope here.
Wow. I'm so impressed. It is just, at this point, it is insane. GUA's just lost twice. This is one of the greatest players of all time in Age of Empires 3. Going up against FitzBro, who's kind of like the new kid on the block. You know, he makes a lot of content. He's climbing up the ladder. You know, he's not really finding anything that sticks. Like, he's throwing a lot of spaghetti to the wall, but not a lot is sticking. And now it's like the tables are turning. FitzBro is very clearly putting the car into, like, we're in 3rd gear at this point, and FitzBro is climbing his speed fast right now. We see in this last fight just how many villagers GUA lost. So he was up a significant amount of villagers. So he was up 9 villagers, and then he went down and lost so from 33 down to 21. So lost 12 villagers there. A huge economic loss. He was actually up massively. A really, really unfortunate fight for him. GUA also down in economy ever so slightly though. Very difficult spot.
I think the last section is just because of the villagers lost, because at some point it almost got even, but it was pretty obvious that GiveUAnxiety wanted to have one decisive fight there, so that didn't go his way, and that pretty much sealed the deal. Do you know why he actually lost 2 games in a row? I kind of figured it out.
First game, I think he lost just simply by taking ineffective trades, where he is used to taking those trades and still being able to win because he plays British and he normally has a much greater economy. So he's able to sort of multitask or out-multitask his opponent, and then still, you know, he can afford to throw away 2 or 3 musketeers without it really costing him. In the second game, I think it just came down to him losing the mortar. You lose that mortar, and that's pretty much the game. Hausa is a very strong civilization at the moment. Their composition is a lot better than the composition that Ethiopia can get. In my opinion, I think Fulani and Javelin are very good, and it's just a matter of time until you get outscaled by the Hausa.
That's a good explanation. I was about to say that I just bet all my channel points on GiveUAnxiety, so that's probably why he lost.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we move on to the 3rd game? Who are you going to be putting your channel points on in this game, Lidicor?
I don't have anyone or any channel points left. So, I guess if there is a possibility of a tie, it might be this one, since I can't bet on anyone anymore.
All right. Well, give me a second. I'm just going to fix up the... we have this little bug in the game where we've got to turn on the camera acceleration, and I've got to turn on right-click camera drag. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. So GUA has picked this map. You ready to get into this, Lidicor? I'm going to take a quick sip of my water, and then
I am.
All right.
And he has picked Britons, so as you said before, he's like, okay, it's Britain's time. What's more interesting is that FitzPro remains with Hausa. I kind of felt like his Ethiopian's composition or his Ethiopian's game may have been slightly stronger than this Hausa one was.
Yeah. I got to agree with you. Yeah. It's curious to see. All right, well, let's get into it. Let us begin. G'day, fellas. Welcome to the 3rd game in the series between GiveUAnxiety and FitzBro. The first 2 games went over to FitzBro, and the 3rd game is now the main squeeze coming out for the big GUA. So GUA spawning in the south of the map, playing the Brits. His opponent, FitzBro, who's currently up 2-0, playing the Hausa in the north of the map. With me this evening is the lovely Lidicor. Lidicor, how are you finding the series so far? Is it stacking up to everything you thought it would be?
So far, yes, but I'm really curious to see now how this African civilization is going to match up against the old school civs.
Yeah.
Because one of the fun things to look at when it comes to a new DLC implementing new civs for whichever game, AOE2, AOE3, or whatever, is when you go play ladder in the first couple of days after DLC is released, everybody is trying the new civs. But there's a couple of tryhards that are like, okay, I'm just gonna remain with my old civs, and I'm just gonna stomp you because you have no idea how to use the new civ yet.
Yep.
So
That's very true, very true. I remember playing the United States when they came out. It was the exact same thing. It was like I was just getting stomped left, right, center. But when these African civs came out, it was the opposite way because the African civs are busted as hell. So it's great to have the shoe on the other foot. I know that there's been some balance issues with the new civilizations as well coming out in AOE2. I know you guys have just had some new civs drop over there as well. You've got the Poles, and there's another civilization. I can't remember exactly what they're called.
the Bohemians.
The Bohemians.
So the Czech and the Polish community got their civs, and they're extremely happy about that. So
that's good to hear. I'm glad. Yeah, Age of Empires 2 is definitely in the fortunate position where it's a lot easier to add civilizations in number 3. Obviously, in number 3, not only do you have to do infrastructure, but all the unit compositions or unit lines are very different, unique. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you got to do on the back end as well. So there's a lot of planning for it. I feel like in Age of Empires 2, I could probably come up with a new civ in maybe 45 minutes. But in Age of Empires 3, I feel like it'd probably take me 45 hours. So yeah, it's one of those things where I kind of wish that Age of Empires 3 civs were a little bit more simple, just so we could have more civs like Age of Empires 2 does. But yeah, it's good to see that so many civs are being added to both games at this point.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
yeah. All right, well, let's get back to the game. So GiveUA is up at the north of the map, going to be taking out this 100 XP treasure, or at least trying to. Going to be picking off the Warthog. Warthog, notorious for his ability to have no worries. Let's just put it that way. So GiveUA going to be picking up a written record of a philosophical problem-solving theory worth 100 XP. So we'll take a look over at FitzBro, see what he is up to. So FitzBro looks like he's going to be playing relatively standard here. We don't see any 10-10 opening from him. We do see him dropping down a university at the beginning of the game as well. So another map that he has chosen. So GiveUA really doing a great job of picking the right African maps against FitzBro's Hausa. So once again, no starting trading post for FitzBro. So 2 games in a row he's been playing, and 2 games in a row he's not had a starting trading post. So a very nice strategic decision or tactical decision there by the GiveUA.
I agree, although I feel like he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, because in the previous game, sure enough, there were no starting trading posts for FitzPro, but he didn't really have any problems with that because he had absolutely no problem moving out and even grabbing 2 trading posts. So this only works for GiveUA if he's a little bit more aggressive and he's actively denying the future trading posts as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's one of those things. But I suspect GiveUA is notoriously an aggressive player. He is able to sort of really keep his opponent's attention in one place and then attack him from multiple points. So I wouldn't be surprised to see GiveUA really, place his barracks probably down here and then apply pressure to those trading posts. I'd be curious to see how he goes about it, though. We'll take a look at their decks. So FitzBro's running a deck called 1v1 Mortar. So the only difference is that it's got the Zebek in there, which is a mercenary ship. We take a look over at GiveUA and we see what his deck has got. So it's called Dum Dum, which is his water contesting deck. So he doesn't have a water boom deck. So he's got the 2 caravels in there, as well as the frigate from the home city. So going to be looking to potentially challenge on water. If we have a look at this map, so this map has quite a few whales in it. So we've got 1, 2, 3 whales in this south bank, or the south bay rather. And then we've got 3 whales up to the north as well. 1, 2, 3. So pretty decent spawns. And actually, is there 4 whales here? There might be 4. Hold on. Yeah, there's 1 whale here, 1 whale here, 1 whale here. That's 3. Am I? Oh, okay. I think that is the 3. Never mind. So 3 on each side. So very fair spawns. Sometimes you don't always see the fairest of spawns. So GiveUA now sending in the 700 wood from the home city. Forward racks coming up. This is very close to his opponent's base. We actually see FitzBro now sending out a couple of... Oh, no, FitzBro. Oh, no. Oh, he spots the
That
racks.
could be a disaster.
Oh, he spots the racks. The university's going down right next to it as well. Oh, no. FitzBro. Oh, no, he didn't spot it in time. University, this is an expensive cost right here. This is a 400 cost building, and the trader hasn't gone in. The trader's going to go in now. Trading posts go up so slow. He's going to be... Is he going to siege this as well? Oh, no, Lidakor.
He should.
Oh,
He should.
oh, my lord. Look how slowly it goes up. And now, oh, the pikes are out. Oh, GUA is on the ball with this one. Oh, FitzBro is going to be...
Absolutely.
That's 200 wood going down right there, followed by another 400 resources that are going to go down. That's... Oh, my lord. Oh, jeez. The main squeeze comes out, and things start to get real, don't they, Lidakor?
That's exactly the type of aggressiveness I was saying, and I kind of feel like FitzBro just tried to do the exact same build at the beginning than the previous game, and GUA was like, that is something I can counter, and he predicted this one really well. I also appreciate how he actually did this on the right side. I think he probably assumed that FitzBro is going to go for the right side for the trading post and not on the northern part or either the central part.
Yeah, I think you're 100% on the money. Really smart play by GUA. I love the foresight there for it, but yeah, going to be picking up the university. Fulani Archers now coming out, but obviously the longbows going to be doing a great job of just preventing that from really doing anything. GUA just so careful, just moving these pikes back. Doesn't want to lose any of them. And FitzBro just in a very difficult spot here. GUA now getting a shipment sent back home. Looks like he's gone with the 600 wood, so back-to-back wood shipments. Definitely the right choice in the early game. Really likes this composition, the longbow, the pike. He feels at home undoubtedly with this civilization. It's great to have him back on the main squeeze after playing those African civs, those pesky African civs. I'm sure he's going to be feeling much better on these Brits. He's now got 10 longbows out, so it's starting to look a little bit more commanding at this point. We take a look back at FitzBro, see what he's up to. FitzBro, very packed in tightly, isn't he? Look at that. It's just... How many buildings can you fit in the screen? FitzBro's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all different buildings, all stacked in beautifully. Explorer doing a little bit of exploring. Where do you...
These are relatively safe resources as well, so even though those longbows could be around, I don't know how much damage they'll be able to cause to the villagers, because the base is just so packed tightly, and there is the fort in the middle that helps quite a bit.
Yeah, the fort is really going to be providing. It's kind of like a double... It's hard to describe, but it's like a double shot, really. You know, like you've got the standard town center, which is providing the fire, and then you've got the fort, which is firing as well. So it's like every second that you stay under here, you're getting twice the decay on your units that you normally would be getting from a town center. It's because you've got that fort there as well. But it looks like GUA is going to be able to commit to this war camp that is out the front. 2,500 hit points. Does go down to the pikes. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. 40 XP going over to GUA on the color green. FitzBro looking like he's in a bit of a difficult spot. Not opting to send in units, but rather send in 700 wood. Now that's under his town center, and FitzBro's in a difficult spot here because if he wants to pick that up, he's going to open himself up to longbows, potentially killing his villagers. We see them just taking off shots on the back line. It looks like he's called out a couple of spearmen as well out of his houses. So really bad use of, or really poor use rather, of influence. It's just, it always feels bad when you have to use your spearmen like this. You'd just rather this be something other than these Minutemen spears. They're just not fun to use at all. FitzBro still sitting on 24 villagers at the moment, so not doing terribly. Fulani Archers trying their best to trade. And once again, talking about this palace, look at this palace, how effectively it's worked down all of these units and just been firing at the same time, but still GUA remains in the base. He's looking good. He's looking strong. 12 longbows now. 9 pikes still beginning to siege down. It looks like he's committing to this palace, but he's got to be careful. There's only 3 pikes left on this. He's begun sieging down the house. He's got to be careful that this potentially doesn't stay up, and that's one of the risks. If this stays up, he does have the potential to sort of hold here, and he actually realizes that and says, you know what, we need to commit everybody over here. He does it. It's the right choice. Palace goes down. He's now got the town center that only remains Lidakor. Do you think Fitz is going to be able to hold on to this?
I don't think so anymore. Like, maybe with that castle staying up, but there's just too much pikemen over here, and it's the same thing as we saw with the Gaskenya in the first game. You can just snowball the game really fast. From this point on, you can just take down a house real fast, you can take down the market, or you can take down a production building like he's doing. What I appreciate from GiveUAnxiety in this game is that before he took down the first production building, he actually sent in the longbows first to pretty much tank the fire from the castle itself. And that kept the pikeman alive a lot longer, allowing him to finish off those buildings.
Yeah, 100%. It really drew a lot of the fire. Those longbows were the threat, and as a result, it meant that the pikes were just able to sort of continue sieging their way through. But yeah, GUA definitely in a good spot here. Fitz undoubtedly feeling the pain of losing that early university, as well as losing that early trading post. He would have loved to have kept that, but now trying to sort of change the angle of the game, trying to get back into it, and this is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to pick up a nice little raid here. Unfortunately, attacking a lot of villages for GUA, so he's going to be in a difficult spot. He's on 37 villages at the moment before any villages go down. Let's see exactly how many he ends up with. So it looks like at least a couple are going to be going down here. So first villager, second villager, third villager, fourth villager. Does it go down? Yes, it will. And we take a look back over at FitzBro, see how he's doing. He's on 22 villages, migrating up to the north. He's dropping down a granary to draw those villages, or to draw those nearby deer, or gazelles in, rather. So going to be
aiming. The longbows are chasing, so that could be a death trap there. Because there is only one escape. It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. You are 100% on the money there. So Fitz doing his best to kill the villagers down here. But yeah, it is a trap. It's a trap. What do you do now? Like, that's it, right? Like, is that GG at this point?
I mean, behind this one, I'm fairly certain that those pikemen are still destroying the starting base of FitzPro. And last time I checked, it is not great when all of your villagers are running in one direction and no one's getting resources.
Oh, FitzPro. It's one of those things where it's like, look at poor Fitz. Is he splitting vills? He's splitting his vills up. He's got 2 down here to the south. He's got 4 up to the north. 1 goes down. He's going to be losing all of these villages, though, so... Oh, man. GUA doing a great job of just keeping on top of it. And that's one of the things is that when it comes to this type of play, you know, you're not going to get one out like this on GUA. He's ahead of the game. I say that, though, but we've got a couple of vills just sneaking out here. How did these vills get out? He must have done it. He must have accidentally moved all of the units, and these guys were part of the control group or something. Fulani's now getting a couple shots off on the pikes. Going to be able to take out a couple pikes, and 2 villagers actually managed to get out. GUA pulling up ahead about 4.5k score right now, so definitely a huge lead. We do a quick stock take. 36 villagers for GUA versus 16 for FitzBro. All right, well, Lytical, I think it's time for us to put up our legs and just watch this game finish out, because GUA is ahead by a mile at this point.
Exactly. It kind of feels like what FitzBro wanted to do is just grab those Fulani archers and the cavalry and try to pick apart the army of GUA, and that might work because GUA have split his armies quite a bit. Obviously, he's very, very far from coming back into this one, but maybe he's hoping that he can raid his way back into the game, but I just don't think that those Fulani archers will be enough to match the longbows.
Yeah, I don't know how they match up, but I do suspect that longbows would probably beat Fulani archers in most circumstances. Longbows have just got a much higher base attack, so they've got a 17 base attack. So yeah, I do suspect they would do a lot better. Yeah, it's curious. Now the musketeer raids begin. 6 musketeers in the base of FitzBro. This is what nightmares are made of right here. 1 villager. Count them, fellas. Count them.
Yeah, we're down to 16 once again. Just by the comparison of longbows to Fulani archers, I kind of remember that meme when it's like, Mom, can we have longbows at home? And then longbows at home. And it's like, oh, those are the Fulani archers.
Yeah, I know exactly the meme that you're talking about. Yes, it is indeed. These are the longbows at home. The Fulani archers. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job of cleaning up these muskets. They've got higher base movement speed, but yeah, unfortunately the longbows at home aren't going to be able to do much when the real longbows show up right here. And I suspect this is going to be calling the end right here for GUA, because his last hope, you know, the last hope right here. God, look how much military GUA's got. This is ridiculous. This is 25, 7 pikes. He's got the muskets down here to the south as well. And FitzBro in the chat saying, good game, well played. Game number 3 going over to GUA.
Of course, the first game I don't net my points on GUA, he's ending up winning it.
Well, you got to remember the golden rule of AOE3. If GUA is on Brits, bet on GUA. That's the way it goes. He's an absolute beast when it comes to the Brits. So great to see him coming back in the series, pulling one up. Do we see a potential reverse sweep coming in here, Lidicor?
Maybe, but we have to keep in mind that now I think that the civilizations flip, if I'm not mistaken. So now we would have the African civilization for GUA and the free civilization pick for FitzPro.
That is correct, yes. So now we're going to have FitzBro. I'm curious. So FitzBro's main civilization is the Lakota. So do we potentially see a Lakota coming out on maybe like Great Plains potentially? Let's take a look. Let's see what we've got.
That would really fit the playstyle of FitzBro so far.
Yeah.
Like, he's been trying to stretch out the attention of GUA so much, and that would be a nightmare for or for GUA to handle.
All right, let's take a look and see what we've got. We do have FitzPro on the Lakota. Okay, I'm just going to be quickly fixing up my camera acceleration. There we go. All right, I hope you guys are ready. I see some pasta in the chat to support GUA. It's good to see a lot of people coming out today to support the GUA with the pasta. He's a man who loves his spaghetti. I'm surprised you guys aren't spamming burritos in the chat. Isn't that what he's all about? I thought he was about burritos. Anyway, let's get into it. Game number 4. G'day, fellas. Welcome to game number 4 in the series between GiveUAnxiety and FitzBro. In the last game, GiveUAnxiety managed to pull out a win on the main squeeze, and in this game, he's playing the Ethiopians up against FitzBro. Now, FitzBro spawning in the north of the map, playing the Lakota, and it's the first time we're seeing him on this civilization in this series. So I'm excited to see exactly what he's going to be able to pull out in this game. What are you thinking, Lidicor? How are you feeling?
It's an interesting start. Just to be sure. So what I'm surprised about a little bit is that we are seeing Ethiopians for GiveUAnxiety, not Hausa. I thought that he would be going a little bit heavier on the Hausa side against potentially CU, as you said, because CU was, or well, it's now Lakota, but it used to be CU back when I was actually actively playing the game. So now the Lakota. You said it was a somewhat predictable choice for FitzPro over here, so I would have thought that Hausa is a little bit better matchup.
Yeah.
Against Lakota. So I'm a little bit surprised about the Ethiopians here.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I guess he does still have access to the Javelin Rider. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I probably would have gone with the Hausa as well, especially on a map like this, where you've got access to the trading posts. You've got an in-base trading post as well, so you could drop down this university around here. I think it should be pretty good. Then you get that starting one, but maybe GUA just feels a bit more comfortable on Ethiopia. His Hausa was looking pretty good. FitzPro in the chat saying, good luck, have fun. GiveUAnxiety, doing the appropriate response in AOE3, just giving him a 1, a yes. Is that what happens in Age of Empires 2? If someone says good luck, have fun to you, do you say yes? Or do you say good luck, have fun back to them? What do you say, Lidicor?
Depends. I would say usually say good luck, have fun. Sometimes just say have fun though, because, you know, it's like, if you're tryharding and you're like, oh, I don't wish you luck, bro. I just want to win, so I don't want you to be lucky. Just have fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, and speaking of having fun, it looks like GUA is going to be putting down a trading post in the back of his base here. Sending in Trinity from the home city. We'll take a look at his deck. So he's going with main G. So despite this being a water map, despite having a water point, drop-off point, or home city water flag shipment, home city water flag, rather, he's decided to opt not for a water deck. We'll check on FitzBro. We'll see exactly what he's gone for. So FitzBro going for a water deck called Tashunki Water. FitzBro, I am impressed with the size of your cojones. Let's just say that much. Water Tashunki, those two words probably shouldn't ever go together in a sentence, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's probably been a while since you've seen the Lakota, because obviously if you're familiar with the Sioux or the Sioux, then you would... they've had a few changes, and so one of the things they've got is they've got access to a unit called the Tashunki Prowler. Used to be... What did it used to be called? I can't remember exactly what it was called, but basically these guys can go invisible. And if you get lots of them together, they increase the surrounding units' attack and health. And so if you get, like, I think you can get up to 14 of them. And if you get all 14 together, they do a huge amount of damage and they go invisible. And so basically it just means that you've got, like, the potential for a giant play to happen at some point in this game if FitzBro ever does get to that critical amount of Tashunki Prowlers. And now we've got, speaking of Tashunki Prowlers, a little bit of prowling from FitzBro coming in and trying to steal the treasure, but it looks like GiveUA is going to be able to steal that one. No worries for him at all. 75 coin going over the way of GiveUA. FitzBro putting an age up in Q, cancelling it, and then going up with the Chief. So deciding against his original choice, probably going up with the Messenger originally. GiveUA, on the other hand, going to be going up with the Jesuits, the stock standard choice, the Jesuits. How do you feel about the opening so far? Any advantage that you can summarize from the play styles of either player yet?
I don't think so yet. What I'm more interested about, and that's probably the most important thing, is how do you actually use the mortar against the Lakota? Because Lakota are known for their cavalry, so if there is a civilization that's capable of sniping your mortar, then it might be the Lakota.
Yeah. That is a really good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah, what do you do with... Does he even have... He's got the mortar in deck, but I think you might be right. I think you just go full Gascania and Neftenia, right? Like, that's got to be the choice. I feel like that's it.
Yeah. I feel like he could also go very aggressive, like we have seen in the previous game. So, like, the Lakota will try to raid him, that's almost guaranteed. So you probably want to take the initiative and just try to be very aggressive with your initial Gascania. Just try to apply pressure and force the Lakota player to defend.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. If I'm in this position, I would probably want to be doing exactly that. So get out some early Gascania on the map, try and force my opponent to stay in his base, and then maybe behind that, even just 5 Javelin out, just to defend from any potential raids. Because I know that Lakota is going to try and raid me at some point. It's a matter of time when you're playing against Lakota. It's bound to happen. Actually, Spotty's got a Colonial Swashbuckler out here. And GiveUA, rather Lakota player FitzBro, putting some villagers in the town center here. Looks like he was trying to fire upon that Explorer of GiveUA. But GiveUA now going to be falling back, taking a treasure in the middle of the map. 700 wood on the way for GiveUA. First shipment here, dropping down the war camp as well. So going for a little bit of a different build here, mixing things up. So normally we do see players go for that 4 villagers first or Jesuit influence. GiveUA not even including Jesuit influence in his deck here. So saying, you know what? I don't need the extra influence. I'm fine without it. So very, very confident. Two shipments right here. So a huge amount of shipments that he's got. He can send back to back right now. This is impressive stuff from him.
Yeah. And he's got quite a lot of military cards as well in that deck for H2. So he's got the Shuttle card as well. He's got a lot of influence as well in it. So to me, this deck feels kind of aggressive for a Commerce Age deck.
Yeah.
But I don't see him being that aggressive with the forward or so. So he might end up playing a slightly more defensive start at the beginning just to see if there is any raids coming his way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've got units coming out at 535, so about pretty standard for him. And we do have the stable going back, or the corral going back in the base for FitzPro. FitzPro actually taking double trading post on the back line, so looking to probably upgrade that potentially in the coming seconds, I would suspect, or coming. Let's take a look at his macro and see how he does. But yeah, I'm loving FitzPro's deck here. I know that it's called Tashunki Water, but the fact that he's got the 3 Buccaneers in here, or the 3 Privateers, really going to enable him to potentially control the trade route in the event that he spots GiveUA going for that one. GiveUA beginning to push in now with the Gascenia. Got to be careful here, FitzBro. FitzBro, you got to be careful. 1 villager potentially going to be going down here. 1 villager does go down. FitzBro not paying attention, or if he was paying attention, just didn't care enough. Bow Riders going to be coming out. Bow Riders, I'm curious how they stack up against the Gascenia. I feel like they're probably going to do pretty well. They've got a lot of HP. They got a lot of attack. They seem to
Yeah, exactly. They are very, very tanky. Like, the thing is that Gascenia are very good against cavalry in melee, but I don't think FitzPro is ever going to allow that to happen. So you probably are going to need some Neftenia eventually against those Bow Riders.
Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same thing. We see that GiveUA's actually managed to get a snare onto the Bow Riders on the back line, but he's going to fall back and being so cheeky, bringing his Explorer forward and then back like that. And really just doing a great job of just sort of trading out these units. Keep in mind the Gascenia are a lot cheaper than the Bow Riders. And no, FitzBro, no, that's not how you do it, Fitz. Not like this. First one going to be going down. He's lost 3 now, but he's taken out a lot of Gascenia. But keep in mind, his Bow Riders are a lot more expensive than the then the Gascania. Speaking of expensive, Age 3 on the way for GUA. It's going up with the Sudanese. Going to be training some Abuns as well. So doing a pretty decent job at this point. We take a look over at FitzBro. FitzBro still sticking around in Age 2. Got a couple more bow riders out, so going to be looking to apply some pressure down here towards the south. Do you feel like there's a particular advantage that either player has managed to obtain at this point?
I think that GiveUAnxiety has a bit of a lead right now because those bow riders, they might pick off one or two villas as we are speaking about that. There is probably one.
There is one.
But H3 could matter quite a bit, especially when it comes to snowballing the game. So the elite Gascania could help quite a bit. And I think the key thing here is that the Gascanians just don't cost coin. So GiveUAnxiety never had to invest any of his coin, and that's a beautiful surround.
Oh my lord, what a great pop there from GUA. GUA just really showing how it's done. 5 Gascania popping out on top of the bow riders in melee, forcing them to be snared. We see how slow they're running, at the same time getting shot by the town center and the Gascania that were just above the town center. So doing a great cleanup right there. GUA looking like he's in a commanding lead at this point. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Do you know who I bet my channel points on?
Did you bet them on GUA?
No, I bet it on FitzPro.
Oh my, did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
Like,
all right, you got to tell me who to bet on the next game, and then I'm just going to pick the opposite to what you say, and then I'm going to have guaranteed channel points. Because I tell you what, Littlecore, you're a great caster, but when it comes to betting, you're not too good at the channel points.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out myself.
Oh man. All right, so 2 shipments now in stock for GUA. GUA is going to be aging up to the fortress age. He's going up with a slow age, even though he could potentially have gone up with a fast age if he'd worked out just a little bit more of the influence. He's going to be making sure that he repels any potential raids that come in and does that quite well. So GUA really just doing a great job of just preventing that raid. FitzBro in a bit of a difficult spot now, coming in with bow riders from the north, but at the same time, there's nothing really here. I mean, GUA being very proactive, just bringing those villagers in, even though they were down far to the south on this tree line. And now the age up has occurred. GUA hitting the fortress age at 9 minutes 13, not even using the fast age up, and at 19 villagers, sending in the Neftania. 19 villagers compared to the 31 villagers of FitzBro. So FitzBro definitely going 4 vills into 5 vills, sending multiple villager cards, but a huge villager lead for FitzBro. But I guess the primary difference here is that there's going to be a big swing in tempo. So at this point, you know, FitzBro's looking good. He's got lots of military out. He's got a pretty decent economy, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be enough. We see FitzBro actually going for cavalry hit points at this point. You know what I think would actually be pretty decent in this position? So the Lakota have got a card that turns axe riders into rifle riders. So you probably don't want these axe riders, but you would love rifle riders, because rifle riders are going to do very well against Gascania. Now, it's highly unlikely that GUA is going to be sending in the Sebastopol mortar. But if he does, the rifle riders are going to be doing very well against it. And the rifle riders are going to do very well against the elite Gascania as well. But at this point, FitzBro is... I feel like FitzBro probably could have engaged with this. I guess maybe? I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly how this is going to go. It really is difficult to tell and to gauge. Do you think that anyone's really got a military advantage here at the moment?
I think currently it's GiveUAnxiety. He's got the H3 upgrades, he's got a couple of Neftania out, and it looks like he's bringing in the boon as well. So he will try the same approach as he did in the second game. Just go for one decisive fight. And as you said, there is no mortar because the siege will just be done by the Gascania themselves. And he's on a timer because FitzBro is now on 3 trading posts. And as you said, he also has a lot more villagers. So time is ticking, and I see 2 more buildings coming in the middle.
Yeah,
to fortify for FitzBro.
So FitzBro dropping double war hut down, really getting serious about this. Looks like he's trying to get an age up in queue himself here. The question is whether he's going to be able to do that before the timing hits. Because you did mention about that potential timing attack. GUA knows he's on a timer, so he's got to get that attack in as quickly as possible. Make sure that it hits his opponent before his opponent can really begin to build up that mass. But GUA pulling ahead in score significantly right now. We see a 4K score lead for GUA in the top right-hand corner. So impressive stuff. FitzBro focusing on his economy. I'm not sure if this is the right move. I feel like at this point you should probably be saving this shipment. Maybe go up with the messenger, try and get up to the 3rd age as quickly as possible. It's a tough call. Where do you go from here?
It's really hard right now. I feel like very, very soon GiveUAnxiety is going to have to start pushing this one. And it looks like he's doing that. He's actually bringing the boon first. Oh, he was waiting for the mortar.
The mortar
But
did come in. Wow. Okay. So I wasn't expecting the mortar to come in. This is big. This is really big. This is a win condition right now. So, like, obviously he had a win condition, but before, now he's got a really big one. FitzBro going to be going up to the 3rd age with the messenger. So, and FitzPro even saying in chat, lol. FitzPro liking to talk a lot in these games. This Civ is just downright terrible. Oh my god, FitzPro complaining about the Civ in the tournament game. Oh, FitzPro, you can't be complaining about a civilization. You picked it, boy. You picked it.
Exactly. And well, those war huts went down really fast over here. He's going to try to snipe the mortar, but I feel like the mortar is just not even a factor here right now, to be honest. Obviously, it helps, but we should just look at that 25-30 Gaskenia and like 15 Neftania coming in.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of military there for him. He's got, 31 Gaskenia, 11 Neftania, and we see FitzPro going behind, trying to pick off reinforcements. As you said, going behind, trying to get around, but he's now reached the 3rd age, but he's not going to have any shipments that he can send in because he's not going to have a town center up. Because GiveUA's just rushed straight for it.
Exactly. And the thing is that GiveUA did the very thing that the Lakota will struggle against. Like, Lakota here want to initiate fights. They want to use their mobility and just go for raiding. And GiveUAnxiety was like, if I don't have economy, that cannot be raided. And I'm just going to go all the military shipments that I can possibly grab.
Yeah.
And just snowball the game with Gaskenia.
And that's exactly what he did. And, I mean, FitzBro had no response to it. He called GG and yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't know how you deal with it. It's just, there's so much. I think GiveUA just played very well. No villager losses at all in the early game, with the exception of, I think, was there maybe one villager that he lost potentially? Let's take a look at the villager count and see how it went down. So we've got GiveUA. Yeah, so GiveUA going from 20 to 21 villagers. That was it. On the other hand, Fitz losing a couple throughout the game. But still maintaining a pretty healthy lead throughout it. But that was... Wow. I guess you really did see the difference there, didn't you? We take a look at the military unit population. Yeah, look how big it just gets at the end. It's just really quickly gets up there. All right, well, let's move on to the 5th game in the series. So that takes us through to the final game in the series. This is the deciding match, Lidicor. Who are you going to put your channel points on?
This is hard to say. I'm just gonna leave it as it is and not bet on anyone. So it could go either way.
Okay.
But I kind of feel like now that GiveUA was able to win 2 in a row, he's the one with sort of the better momentum. So, and especially after the first game, we could see a little bit of signs of tilt maybe on losing the treasure and such.
Yeah.
But those are now gone. So he's the one that can go into the final game with a bit more confidence, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So, I feel like you're leaning towards putting your points on GiveUA.
If I had to, then I probably would do that.
I'm all in on FitzBro. Let's go. All right. Let's do this. You guys ready for game number 5? Let's jump in. Man, this has been a great series so far. I'm really impressed. I can't believe FitzBro's managed not only to take 2 games off GiveUA, but actually do it like in style as well. All right, let me fix up these quick little ones right here. There we go. All right, you ready, Lidicor?
I am.
All right, let's do it. G'day, fellas. Welcome to the 5th and final game of the series between FitzBro and GiveUAnxiety. This series is part of the African Championship for $1,500 hosted by EGC TV. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button down below and let us know in the comments if you've enjoyed this series so far. I know that I definitely have so far, and Lidicor, I suspect you've enjoyed it so far as well.
Absolutely. And we're going to have FitzBro in green on the left side of the map as the Hosa, and GiveUAnxiety with the purple Ethiopians on the right. Looks like GiveUA is very, very heavy on Ethiopians.
Yeah, he's definitely loving them a lot. So picking them up the 3rd time in the series here. So it looks like he's feeling very at home. It's almost like they're his home away from home. Obviously, the Brits being his main squeeze, but the Ethiopians definitely coming in at a close second, I would say, at this point. Maybe the Germans, maybe second, maybe Ethiopians a safe third. But we see how aggressive he is, looking for any sort of treasures that are out on the map that FitzBro may be doing. I love just how in the face he is of FitzBro here, really just trying to put him off and tilt him further just by getting out here. You see, he hasn't at all looked around his base. He's just only been out and about. He just missed this treasure right here. There it is, right there. But now spotting this treasure up to the north, 85 XP, so he's going to go for that one. FitzBro, is he paying attention? Is he going to realize it? He has scouted this out, so he could potentially walk his way back here. He's idle at them. Oh, he's not idle. He's actually just picking up a 25 wood treasure. But I think this one might go down. I think he might have just realized it. Oh, no, he hasn't realized it. So FitzBro going to be able... Oh, he's only realized now, but it's a little bit too late, unfortunately. And GUA, listen to a Griot playing Sundajada's Balafon, granting 85 XP. It sounds like something FitzBro should be listening to, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. There's a lot of AOE2 references, by the way, in the new African DLC, including Sunjata.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. I was going to say that. There definitely seems to be a lot of crossovers that are happening recently. I know that with is it the Burgundians in Age of Empires 2, you guys have a revolution mechanic now, which is pretty darn crazy. And there seems to be a lot of other things that have come across. There's also the where you trade your food for coin in the late game. There's like a tech that you get. It's like there's a lot of stuff from AOE3 that's going into AOE2. A lot of stuff from AOE2 coming into AOE3. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, some people like it, and then there is the hardcore audience that's just complaining, why do we have that crossover?
Yeah,
well,
we've got the same people. We've got the same people in AOE3. They're the same people that complain that every game isn't a French mirror on Florida. That's all they want to see. They want to see like a best of 9 between like the top 2 players only playing France, only on Florida. That's what they want to see every single game. It's I'm glad that there's purists in both games. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean when it comes to those sorts of purists. I'm curious. So you like the addition of the AOE3 stuff in AOE2?
Depends. Some of it, I'm okay with that. I have a very, very cool story related to that, though.
Okay.
So, like about a year ago, I was in contact with the ESOC guys about coming in for a couple of AOE free casts, and I also set myself up. So I set up the ESOC alerts, stuff like that for streaming.
Yep.
And I was casting AOE2, and suddenly I hear the AOE free home city sound. And well, I didn't actually hear it because when I'm not co-casting, I'm not actually using headphones. I can't hear any game sounds in those times. And people were swearing that, how is it possible that I'm casting AOE2 and there is the AOE free home city shipment sound? It took us 3 months to figure out that it was because that's the alert on the ESOC TV channel, and that's why we had that overheard.
Oh, that's so funny. It is so funny. Yeah, OBS can be a little bit, what's the word? A little bit unforgiving when it comes to stuff like that. It doesn't really tell you where the sounds come from. And, like, obviously, if you couldn't hear them because you didn't have your headset on, that just makes it all too funny. But, yeah, that's very, very sweet. I like that a lot. That is good. Oh, gosh. All right, so we got FitzPro dropping down to university now. Going to be going up with his Hauser. So allying with himself there. University's in a great spot for him. So FitzBro's picked a map here, which is a very good Hauser map, a map he feels comfortable on. It's called Savannah. This map is a great Hauser map just simply because you've got this starting trading post that's very close to your town center. You're always guaranteed to have it within the radius of your starting university. So it means very safely you can send Hauser Kingdom and not be too worried about it not being inside of the radius of your university. So there it comes in, the 3 wagons now for FitzBro University Builder, a trade builder as well going out to build the trading post. Where's this university going to go down? I suspect probably down here to the south, maybe right here. It would make sense to go down. Let's see exactly where he places it. It does look like it is heading in this direction. That is the trading post socket right there. Oh, he actually goes for it here. A curious spot. Maybe he's looking at doing a potential double palace instead. So we'll tune back in with GUA, see what he is up to. GUA with a forward war camp right now, so really looking to put on the pressure. He's got the Aben out early, looking to harass or just do a little bit of scouting. picking up that 75 coin treasure down to the south. And we've got the 6 Shota warriors coming in. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I say Shottle warriors, but I think that might be wrong. I think it might be Shota warriors. Is that, how do you pronounce it, Lidicor?
I think it's Shottle, but honestly, no one really knows. Usually these are things that everybody just butchers the pronunciation. But, like, the thing is that the only precise things or precise pronunciations we have are from people that actually are from that nation. So, whenever there's a new DLC, it's like, oh yeah, Polish DLC, how do you pronounce that? You gotta ask a Polish person for that.
Yeah, and it's something like Vladistruchnia, and you're like, oh yeah, of course, we'll make sure that we pronounce that perfectly every time. I get the comment every single time I try and say the word Lenschknecht. Oh my god, my YouTube comments, if I ever mention the Lenschknecht, it is just filled with people telling me, you're saying it wrong, Mr. Drongo. You must pronounce the second word like this. And it's, yes.
Yeah. I had the same feeling with barracks. People were complaining, I was always saying barracks, but people were like, oh no, it's barracks. Please pronounce it that way. All right, we got the Shotos out, and I'm pretty sure that this caught FitzBro by surprise over here, because he didn't seem very well prepared for that.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. So 5 Javelins definitely going to be dealing with these very difficultly, and villagers now, as a result, getting harassed by the Shota warriors as well. Pathing under here looks quite terrible for these villagers. The first villager almost going down, but I think it did survive. Second villager getting to the palace as well, so very well-timed entrance to the palace for those villagers. Going to be able to survive, keep themselves alive, and more Javelin Riders now coming out for FitzPro as well. So doing very well to keep those 2 villagers up and in there. I don't think he lost a single villager in there. I didn't hear a villager go down. Normally they make a little audible sound when they go down. Oh no, they've just killed a Sangha cattle, one that was just out living his best life. 3 HP on this villager, 3 HP on this villager. One more hit and they would have gone down for sure. But now...
this is a massive loss. Yeah. This is a massive loss for GiveUAnxiety. It's very similar to the first game, where he was trying to apply pressure, but he never really got value for the units that he has lost. Now, that still means that those Javelin Riders will struggle quite badly against either the Shotos or even the Gaskenia. So, right now, FitzBro is cornered within his own base.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I think Fitz is in a pretty decent spot at this point. Despite being cornered in his base, he's got plenty of food in here, plenty of coin. He's picking up the huge chest of coins from the home city. You can see right now he's got plenty in there. At this point, he can pretty much just mass Javelin Warriors, and I think he's going to be okay. The primary concern is that this hunt is a little bit far out. He needs to try and bring this in right underneath the town center here. Let's see if he manages to do that. He's got a couple of villagers heading out towards this wild elephant out here on the edge. So he's got to be careful with these villagers that are lower HP. You want to try and keep those around the town center just to avoid them dying. Looks like he's bringing one of them back now, so a wise decision from him. Also sending in Fulanis from the home city. He's got plenty of wood, so he's going to be able to get out full batches of those. But beginning to move out with the javelins. GUA, on the other hand, sending in cannoneers from the home city. So we take a look at his deck. We see this just the main G deck, so everything that we're used to. I like that he started off with the Shota Warriors and then moved into Gaskenia and Cannoneers as a composition. So pretty decent opening for him. Just unfortunately unable to really get anything out of it.
Yeah. I kind of feel like losing those Shotos will backfire pretty badly over here for him, because those would be excellent against the Fulani archers now, and he only has a couple of them left.
Yeah. Yep. I agree as well. It's one of those things where I feel like at this point Fitz is ahead just simply because that opening failed so badly. And you really need to get at least 1 or 2 villagers to try and, you know, bring your opponent down to your level when it comes to the economy. And, you know, you weren't able to do that. We take a look now. We see FitzBro. He's scouting out his opponent. He's got all of his military back at his base. So if there is any potential push, he's going to be able to deal with it. 16 Fulani as well. He's got to be careful here as some low HP villagers. 1 villager goes down. 2nd villager going to be going down. 3rd villager down 100%. So he's lost 3 villagers now. So GUA going to be happy with this little pickup. He walks in, takes 3 villagers out and says, you know what? That's pretty good for me. But still GUA pushing the issue. You got to be careful here, GUA. We got raiders on the way. We got double batches of Javelin Riders going to be coming out soon. So got to be careful. Villager tanking.
Yeah, it feels like an all-in.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think GiveUA is committing here. Let's see if Fitz gets the double. He doesn't get the double batch out because he's completely housed at this point, but still looking pretty decent. GiveUA's got to be careful. He's got the Cannoneers somewhat split from the Gascania. Gascania in a difficult spot, fighting underneath the town center as well as the palace right here. The Raiders get out on top of them, and it is just absolutely amazing. The Raiders have got that bonus against infantry, and GiveUA just getting completely cleaned up right here. FitzBro is looking dominating right now, and I am so glad at the beginning of this cast I asked you, Lidicor, who are you betting your money on right now? And you said GiveUA, and I said, all right, well, I'm all in on FitzBro, and it's looking like FitzBro is going to be going through to the second round of this tournament. I am impressed with FitzBro and just how far he has come. It is great to see. Huge, massive units now beginning to build up. We see that he's up 2.5k score at this point. Is there any way that GiveUA gets back into this game, Lidicor?
I don't think so. He has lost way too much. Like, he lost 10, 15-ish Shoros, a bunch of Gascania, and yeah, there is just now an unstoppable force heading his way. There's a lot of cavalry in it as well, so from this point on, he will just have to chase the raiding units. I don't necessarily see a way back here for GiveUAnxiety. Yeah,
I got to agree with you. I'm trying to think of what the potential win condition is for him. And the problem is, even if you go straight for the big boy, like let's say hypothetically he sends Big Benny now, and he sells it for gold, and he goes up to the next age. He's got 5 idols at the moment. Come on, GiveUA, get it together. And he gets it up to the next age, and then he sends like the big mortar from the home city, and he's making Gascania. Fitz is gonna be he's gonna have such a huge mass. He's already got such a big mass. And now it's like, it's only just going to get added to it. You see the amount of units he's adding to this. It's just huge. He's on 26 villages at the moment. He's looking really good.
He is.
Yeah, it's like...
But if you consider that GiveUAnxiety, I think is about to click up to H3. Currently, FitzPro isn't using his... superior army right now, and this could actually give at least a bit of a chance for GiveUAnxiety to have a shot at coming back. It's still a long shot, but at least he will have an opportunity to come back, because currently FitzBro isn't punishing him a lot for losing that army before.
Yes. Yeah, it's allowing him to somewhat get back into the game, but I guess for me it's like, what way does he have to even get back into the game? He's not going to be able to drop a town center without getting punished. He's not going to be able to do any sort of like economic boom. He's going to get outscaled by this Civ. And I guess that's part of the matchup. Part of the reason why the Hausa are so good at the moment is because not only do they outscale pretty much every single civilization when it comes to this sort of late colonial or late Age 2 fighting, but they're also very, very strong in the early Age 2 fights as well. And that's obviously been reflected in this game. The fact that Fitz has been able to hold very effectively. Huge military out now for Fitz. So in total, we've got, I'm selecting 50 units right there. So he's probably got more than 50 units. Or maybe he's just got exactly 50 units. He's got exactly 50 units right here. And you compare that to GiveUAnxiety, who is sitting on his 5 Shotel Warriors and 18 Gascania with his Explorer. So about 32 military population difference at the moment. So a huge amount
of difference. He's hoping for an H3 miracle, and we talked about the fact that if you know a unit is very, very strong or slightly overpowered, are you going to exploit that? I think this is the moment where GiveUAnxiety has to hope that Gascanias are as overpowered as they are told to be.
I think you might be right. We see that he's going up. He is training Gascania. He's hoping for a miracle. I feel like if there's one hope for him... he doesn't actually have the card in his deck. Never mind. I was going to say it would be the Dervish. There's a card, 15 native or Sudanese Dervish. If he could get that card, he might be in a good spot. The Dervish do actually pop out of the town center now. He's got 7 Dervish. They're going to be, unfortunately, going the way of the... well, they're not going to be going too well, let's just say that much. GiveUA now pushing in at the FitzPro pushing in at the perfect time right now. Right under the town center as the age up happens is exactly where you want to be. Fighting before the upgrade. This is the worst time for GiveUA to fight right now. He's literally just aged up. Javelins on the front line. He's got to 22 javelins, 23 Falanis. The majority of the Gascania are going to be going down. This looks like it's it. He's got GiveUA on the ropes. FitzPro may be going through to the semifinals here, and GiveUA calls the good game. 3-2 to FitzBro. Congratulations to FitzBro going through to the semi-finals to play up against Canoosial Bear in the $1,500 African Championship. Good game, well played, good luck in the rest. Thanks, man, from FitzBro. Lidicor, what do you reckon? How was that for a series?
It was amazing. One of the things that I loved about this one is that we have seen in many ways that, hey, Ethiopians can be so overpowered when they get the cannon, when they get the Gaskenya out. On the other hand, we also saw that Hausa definitely have the answer to stop them. So we have seen sort of the strengths and weaknesses of both Hausa and Ethiopians in this set so far. After or before this game, GiveUAnxiety was 1-1 with Ethiopians, and it's gonna turn into a 1-2 in this set. Whereas for FitzPro, I think he was playing more with Hausa, but I wasn't actually keeping track of that.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, I think you might be right. People did suspect that Ethiopia was the top dog, but look, I got a feeling it's probably Hausa. Hausa are looking really, really good right